Hi everybody. So today's question, what makes you feel whole? So what makes me feel whole? And I don't mean as in complete, because I am complete. I don't mean satisfied, because you can have a really good meal and feel satisfied. You can do something to help somebody and feel satisfied. You can do something to harm somebody and feel satisfied. It all depends on who and what you are as to what will allow you to feel satisfied. And I don't mean happy, because apparently happiness comes from within. So apparently happiness is a conscious decision. You decide you're going to be happy in spite of or because of. So, for example, you win a prize and you feel happy. You do something and you're successful and you feel happy. You pass an exam, you buy a new something, maybe a new car, that would be nice, and you feel happy. The happiness doesn't necessarily last. You think of impulse purchases. You go into a store and you buy yourself that jacket or jersey or trouser or pair of shoes that you've been wanting for a long time. How long does that happiness last? Before you start thinking, oh gosh, I've spent so much money on this, or I wonder if anybody will like this. I wonder if it makes me look fat. I wonder if I can walk in these shoes. I wonder how long it'll take before they start hurting me. So we have a constant editor inside our brain that does the what if scenario, the negative routine. So I'm not talking about happiness, because happiness is part of the ups and downs of life. And as we know, life is full of ups and downs. There is no person who has a life that is 100% rainbows and unicorns. They might imagine it to be. They might appear to have a life that is all rainbows and unicorns. But realistically, things break. People, pets pass away. Accidents happen. Tragedies happen. Disasters strike. So life is full of ups and downs. So we can't do okay, happiness makes me feel whole, because I know happiness is fleeting. And no, I'm not calling it. It's part of existence. Everything doesn't go 100% according to plan all the time. It's a mathematical improbability. Unless, of course, you lock yourself in a basement somewhere and never leave, short of the basement flooding, you should be able to control everything in your environment. But that's not life. That's not living. That's existing in a controlled experiment. And I don't know how that could be happy, unless, of course, that type of thing makes you feel good, in which event, go ahead, but yeah, whatever. So what makes you feel whole? Is it another person? Is it a relationship with a significant other? Well, you can't really have a relationship with a significant other unless you feel whole within yourself already. Because otherwise, you, during the relationship, will start changing your own perceptions, I guess. You know, if so-and-so completes me, then I wasn't a complete person when I met them. So if they complete me, they are a missing link. If they're the missing link, I will modify who I am in order to accommodate that missing link. And in and of itself, that will make me change. Because we have established that everything changes all the time. Unless you lock yourself in a vacuum, but we're not going there. Everything changes. People change. Weather changes. Environments change. Climate changes. Everything changes from one nanosecond to the next. The way people feel about one changes. So, realistically, having that other half in the form of a relationship, a partner, it may fleetingly make you feel whole. But does it? So what is it that makes one feel whole, that makes one feel real? I mean, I know if I cut myself, I bleed, and I really do bleed. And I can see it. And if I touch an arm, I know I have an arm. And I know that when I speak, I have a voice. So from that perspective, yes, I'm real. But what makes me real to myself? So I've looked across my 50-odd years of existence and pinpointed a few times when I've been whole. One of them was when I started flying a light aircraft. There's a backstory on me flying aircraft. I'm not going into it. Not today. But when I was in the sky, I was at peace. And is being at peace perhaps feeling whole, feeling real? And don't get me wrong, flying terrified the living daylights out of me. It really did. I would wake up on the morning before one of my flights, whether it was with or without my instructor, and I would check everything to find an excuse not to fly. The day before, I looked forward to it. I planned for it, I budgeted for it, I scheduled it, I did the whole routine. The morning of, I would start looking for excuses not to fly because it terrified the living daylights out of me. Until I was on the taxiway. I would do the pre-flight inspection, I would do the entire routine, constantly thinking, trying to find an excuse not to fly. But once I was taxiing to the runway, I felt peace. When I was in the sky, I was at peace. I was whole. I was real. I was part of everything in this light aircraft. And I'm by no means was I a great shakes. I learned how to fly a light aircraft. And I loved it. I loved it. And I would beam after flying for days on end. And I would look forward to my next flip. And I would plan for it and I'd budget for it. and I'd stress about the money for it. But when I was taxiing to the runway for takeoff, I would feel whole. I would feel at peace. Even one day on one of my first solo flights, in fact, I think it was the first solo flight, I didn't see the airport. I'd radioed in to tell them I was coming, and I just didn't see it. Visual pilot. And I ended up being lost over the city of Johannesburg. Now, Joburg is very large. The airport I was flying out of is not close to the main international airport. So I wasn't terribly concerned about big jumbo jets coming in and wiping me off the face of the planet. But I didn't know where I was in relation to the airport where I needed to land. I didn't panic. I was completely at peace. Until eventually I did land and went back to the flight center and had to go in. Because, not a good idea to become temporarily unaware as to one's position when one's flying an aircraft. And yet, even that fear of going back into the flight center and the owner of the flight center being there waiting for me, that fear didn't make me feel less complete. I didn't feel stupid. I didn't feel as if I'd done anything wrong, except maybe not see the airport. And I was actually congratulated when I came in. Well, when they dragged me in because someone had to fetch me from the cockpit. And the flight center owner said to me, "Well done." I said, "What do you mean, well done?" He said, "Well, you didn't panic." And it occurred to me then that flying an aircraft is a happy place. It's a peaceful place. I could do it on my own. Obviously, there are aircraft support people. Obviously, there are control tower people and so on and so forth monitoring you. But realistically, flying the aircraft on my own, I was on my own. I wasn't being judged. I wasn't being criticized. I wasn't being told that there's something wrong with me. Even when I was learning how to fly, and I had my instructor sitting next to me, I didn't feel inadequate. So is feeling real accompanied by other emotions, such as there's no negative bullshit. There's no, "Oh, you're not good enough." There's nobody smacking you on the back of the head because you missed a gear when you were driving. There's no bullying. Because, my instructor would instruct. He would tell me what to do, he would tell me what I was doing wrong, and he would put me through my paces. And he taught me how to fly. He never told me I was pathetic. He never told me I was too stupid to fly. He never told me I was a weak little female and I couldn't fly. He guided me and instructed me. And ultimately, I qualified as a private pilot. First visual, then instrument, with a night rating. And I did. I felt real. I felt whole. I felt accomplished. It's something that nobody can ever take away from me. Yes, the pilot's license has lapsed, but nobody turned around and told me I wasn't good enough. So maybe for me, feeling whole, feeling real, is being acknowledged for who and what I am, is constructive criticism, is allowing me to perform whatever I'm doing in the best way I know how. And if I make a mistake, correcting it without denigrating me and bullying me and telling me how useless I am. I think back to school. I was a smart, naughty kid. So, yeah, I could pass your exams. They didn't much interest me. I didn't particularly like the fact that I had to wear a specific uniform, that I had to wear a green uniform, that my skirt had to be a specific length, that I had to wear specific socks, specific shoes, specific shirt, that I had to tie my hair up. I didn't like it. I didn't like walking down passages single file with prefects telling me, walk single file, no talking. Constant military type bullying. I mean, in our school, we were even instructed on our underwear. I had to wear the most revolting green panties, whatever they're called. They were these giant, revolting things made out of the most disgusting fabric. And you think, well, it's your underwear, no one's going to see it. Yeah, newsflash. They did panty inspections. They would line you up and make you lift your skirt so that they could check your underwear. What bloody regime is that? What is wrong with them? And they wonder why there are so many people with so many self-esteem issues. And if you weren't wearing the correct mandated underwear, if your skirt was too long or too short, you were punished. What planet is this? So at school, no, I never felt real. I never felt whole. I never felt as if I belonged there. I was not one of the little automatons that was happy being instructed like a court-martial at every turn. I wasn't happy having to ask permission to go to the ladies' room during a classroom. It doesn't work for me. It strips one of one's individuality. You know, I have a lady who helps me clean up after 11 little furry cats. She comes in every so often. And she was telling me her daughter, who is now of school-going age, well, she's in high school now, her daughter has told her that she's not allowed to go to the ladies' room during class at all, not even if she asks permission. So this child now tries to force bowel movements during stipulated break times that are enforced by a school. What the actual hell is that about? What is that about? There's no logic to it. Yes, I understand you don't want children running around playing truant, not doing their lessons. But if it's time and your stomach wants to do what it wants to do, you are entitled to go to the lavatory. So, what makes you feel whole? What makes you feel like a human being, like a real human being? What is it? Is it your work? Is it your school? Is it your possessions? Is it your friends? Is it your hobbies? Is it all of those things stuck together in a big pile of everything? And which of those things make you feel not whole? What part of your life makes you feel as if you are not enough? And where does that come from? I know in my life, the biggest issues all come from my upbringing. I'm not negotiating it and I'm not debating it. It is the reality. I know that constant criticism, constant negative feedback has created a mini monster in me, because you can bet your bottom dollar, if you're going to criticize me and I don't think it's justified, I will continue doing exactly what it is you criticized, no matter how bad it is, because I don't care. I don't care what you think of me. And it's because of what happened while I was growing up. It's because of bullies, male, female, adult, peer group. Bullies. Those are those nasty little people that run around destroying other people, and they get some form of kick out of it. They're the nasty boys that walk past a pretty girl, and as they walk past, they pass a snide comment. I remember when I first started working, there was a really, really pretty girl who used to do aerobics at lunchtime. And she had a stunning figure. And the guy she liked said something to one of his colleagues, friends, whatever. And the something was, she has a fat bottom. Whether he was speaking about this girl or not, I have no idea. He may have been speaking about somebody else. But she heard him. This girl ended up in hospital due to anorexia. It went into her mind to such an extent that when she was running water into her bath, she would do arm presses. She would hardly eat anything at all. She developed a form of bulimia where when she was actually eating something, she would force herself to throw up. The vast majority of the time, she didn't eat at all. She starved herself because the guy she was attracted to made a flippant, snide comment to a colleague. Whether it was about her or not is immaterial. She decided it was about her. Maybe it reinforced something somebody else had said to her. Maybe somewhere in schooling or somewhere in her family or somewhere along the line, someone had told her she had a fat bottom. And she ended up anorexic. She nearly passed away because of that. She destroyed her body. What was a healthy, young, vibrant lady turned into a skeleton because of a comment that she heard in passing that she believed was about her physical appearance. She didn't feel whole. She didn't feel real. She didn't feel good enough. So she did what she thought she needed to do to be acceptable to this individual. So which bully, which nasty little troll has said something to or about you that you have taken on board as true? And why? You know, it's all good and well saying, oh, well, so-and-so said ABC. Why does it matter? Why does it bother you so much that somebody else believes something awful about you? Whether it be your physical appearance, your personality, your education, your speech. Why does it bother you? Why did you take it on? And you're probably sitting there thinking, well, you know, if that's what people think of me, then I've got to change. Does everybody think that of you? Does everybody think there is something wrong with you? Have you asked everybody? Or is it a select group? Is it a select few? Like the bully at school, the teacher who never quite liked you, the teacher who wrote in your final report card, least likely to succeed, most likely to end up being a drug addict. What was it? And why does it matter? Why does it destroy us? And where are the people who are supposed to prevent that type of thing from happening? And I'm not talking about the police and so on and so forth. I'm talking about the loved ones who you're supposed to be able to speak to, and they say to you, well, you know what? Yeah, you are slightly overweight, or your bottom is slightly bigger than is ideal for your body shape. Or, no, you have a beautiful body. That person has something wrong with them to think there is something wrong with you. Or even just to listen to you and comfort you and guide you so that you don't do something devastating to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are your own worst enemy. The physical damage done to you by other people unless you are in violent situations and war-torn situations, the physical damage is minor compared to what you do to yourself. What you do to yourself. You are your own worst enemy. And we know that bullies reinforce the narrative. We know they say it over and over and over and over again. Not all in the same breath, but over time. You get the constant narrative, the constant, you too fat, you too ugly, you're not good enough. There's something wrong with your voice, you shouldn't sing. What is wrong with you? Why do you do that? You disgust me. You ugly. They reinforce it, sometimes subtly. Sometimes it's in the form of, you wear a beautiful outfit and 2 days later somebody else wears the same outfit, and your loved one turns around and says, oh, that outfit looks beautiful on her or him. But when you wore it, there wasn't a single solitary word spoken. And what does your mind do? Your mind automatically jumps to, but I wore that 2 days ago and you said nothing. Therefore, I didn't look good in it. I will never wear that outfit again because I was ugly in it, because so-and-so didn't tell me I look good. It's a very, very, very subtle form of verbal abuse. It's going and having your hair cut and nobody notices. But when your hair is too long, everybody notices. It's trying to make yourself appear special for a special occasion, and nobody says, gosh, you look nice, or wow, you are beautiful. Nobody notices. And you think, well, I'm obviously just ordinary. I'm not much to write home about. It's the subtle bullying, the constant subtle bullying. So who made you feel as if you weren't whole? Who made you feel you weren't good enough? Who made you feel as if you weren't enough? Yes, your brain played a huge part in it. But who triggered it? And how many whos were they? Was it one? Was it a family? Was it an entire classroom? Was it your entire department at school, at work? Who made you feel as if there was something wrong with you? And why did you take it on board and own it? Why? Why does it become who you are? So, what makes you feel whole? What makes you feel real? What makes you feel enough? You, not other people, you. Just a thought to ponder. Anyway, have a great day now.